Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, across the planet. Welcome to a new NSL Live Talk to in a group that we have seen before quite a few times. Gary Smith on the top left and Luc Verstrepen on the bottom. All of them previously connected to NMP PCH Hayabusa and not any longer now connected to the Qatar delegation. By the way, we were just talking about wind, a little bit weather before. There's a big Qatar delegation at the moment at Skydive City, right? With
Yes,
Niklas. And they are being hit there. We have that hurricane coming. I'm sure you're following that. Have you?
yes, correct. I mean, in fact, just before you crossed, Luke had said he'd been out golfing in Belgium. I'm sitting in Holland, and if I went out early at 8 a.m., maybe it was okay. But other than that, it's been howling here. But I think that's nothing compared to what Florida's been hit by. And I spoke to Jeremy, who's there with the 8-way. I tried to be honest with you. I don't know where Andy is with the
Oh,
Tigers. He
Jeremy is
hasn't.
here. I didn't know that.
Jeremy, Jeremy's in Zephyr Hills, and they jumped yesterday, but today the drop zone's closed because of the obviously the hurricane coming through. So they
Yeah.
hope to jump tomorrow, but they're not sure.
Yeah, we are a little bit better off here on it's all on the Gulf Coast. So we are on the eastern side, and in the central
Yeah,
Florida, we are a little luckier. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get much. It's overcast now. So, but no,
yeah.
I think we have a bunch of teams arriving on the weekend or beginning to train on the weekend. I think
Yeah,
Solly said there's 6 teams um,
wow,
here. I think the two German teams, the two Norwegian teams, and British teams.
that's
So
great,
yeah, all
great.
here for some practice before the World Meet. I hope we'll do the same thing next year, in for the Shamrock Showdown, because a bunch of teams will be in North Carolina at Paraclete, for the Indoor World Championship. And then we want them to stay there, come down, train a little bit outdoor, and then do the Shamrock.
Yeah,
So
that would be great. I mean, I think as long as you get the word out and ask the coaches to spread the word, they're
yeah,
already in the US, and it's a competition.
yeah, we have spread it already, but we'll get into this a little bit more, even probably at the World Championship now and after the World Championship. Luke, how's the weather in Belgium? With Gary's talking about Netherlands. You're not in the Netherlands. You're in Belgium, right?
Yes, I'm in Belgium. The weather is not that great. We have some showers during the day, but like this morning, it's still dry. It stayed dry till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it started to have some local showers, and it's overcast. And that's for the next 3-4 days till Sunday.
Well,
Yeah.
fall is coming in Europe, right? In your
Yeah,
area.
Yes,
So,
yes, it gets colder, cooler. Yeah, I see here in Belgium where I live, 19 degrees, the highest, 17, and go down to 15 next week. Yeah, right.
oh, yeah, it's officially fall now, right? Yesterday, I believe, was it yesterday or sometime this week? It was the official begin of
yeah,
the fall
correct, correct.
in our hemisphere here. So in Europe, we're not surprised here. Well, we will, it's still hurricane season. We see it, but
Yeah,
so
I mean,
far,
let's hope everyone's safe. That's
yeah,
the worst scenario.
yeah, it should be okay. Jumping should maybe not being compromised at all here in the land again. West Coast has to wait a little bit. So the Falcons 8-way team and the whole group with Niklas working with them, they probably have a few days off there today.
Right.
Yeah. And then training the final countdown to the World Championship then begins here and also in North Carolina. And it begins and happens without Gary Smith and without Luke Verstrepen too, I guess, right? That
Correct.
is so unusual. I can't believe it that this is really happening. Gary, you said earlier you've not missed many yet.
Yeah, you know what? I cannot remember missing a meet since 1991, my first world meet. And either you competing or you coaching, you know. And unfortunately, this one I cannot make. I would love to be next to Hayabusa trying to help them through it. But unfortunately, both Luke and I, we have a training camp scheduled in Empuria Brava starting October the 5th.
Oh,
So
so that's the main reason why you cannot go
yeah,
to North Carolina. You're
yeah,
training with the Lions and the Cheetahs in
yeah,
Spain.
yeah. I think, I mean, I would have gone obviously with Hayabusa, but just to go and watch the meet. It's Nicholas's last meet with Mikhail,
Right.
the XP8. I've also heard that there's also going to be people stopping there, so it would be great to be the Airbus with Thomas Mack. Who knows? I think they all stop in after this meet, so it would have been great to be there just as a friend to some, you know, to everyone there and support.
Yeah, and party with them at the end for the goodbye drinks.
Yeah, I have to stay out of this.
Yeah. Well, where do we start? Let's begin with we go to the World Championship and all that you're expecting, and you know we can have some more meetings, actually remote meetings, while you're in Spain and while the World Championship is happening, so we can still attend the meet indirectly, and we'll do that. But let's go back now a little bit to recent events with your Lions and Cheetahs. And we talked about it earlier, that you have separated it somehow, sorted in a new way, that the Lions are kind of the new top team and the Cheetahs is kind of more the farm team. And Gary, the Lions, they have now beaten Hayabusa, they've beaten Airbus, and they're not going to the World Meet. I mean, they beat two of the great forward teams in the world, and on the top five, all of them to be expected somehow or another. And your Lions, they have defeated them now recently at the ESL Championship at the Benelux, right?
Yeah,
Benelux.
correct. The
You
mix, yeah, Belgium, Dutch nationals.
yeah. So what's going on there? I mean, are they
Yeah,
going
I
to
mean,
the Tigers now very soon or what?
well, I mean, that's the goal really, is for these guys have to be replacing Tigers, but until they can show that they can replace them, I don't think the military bosses will do it. You know, I've heard from some of the Tigers, they've said, hey, we are ready to stop, we are ready to quit. I don't know how serious they are about it, but I can imagine they've been going for so long, and to try and keep getting a bronze medal or more at a world meet, you need to train. And I think eventually they start to get, some of them at least, are ready to, you know, back off a little bit. But I mean, the youngsters, they have talent, there's no doubt. I mean, Luke and I are both proud of their scores and what they've done. It looks great. But there's still work to go. You know, I don't want to say everyone can get to a 20 and a half average. But to go more than this, there must be some desire from their side. You know, you cannot keep pushing it. They themselves need to push the ball a little bit further as well. And then as a combined team, I can see that these guys will go further. Otherwise, it could be another 5 years before they can get to a 21 and a half, 22 average. But they have talent. They're good flyers. We picked it up in the tunnel, and I personally think they can go a long way, but some of it must come from them.
What is the average age of the Lions, roughly?
20, Luke, I mean, I think 20,
24
20,
now, 24,
yeah,
25.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it is young. It is
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
young compared to
yes,
most of the other national teams. There are exceptions. The French have a very young lineup now. The Czechs have a very young lineup. But other than that, that's probably one of the youngest forward teams on
yeah.
the planet at the moment. Luke, you have how many of the Lions? They've gone through your school too. Before they were now selected for for the new Lions and for the new Cheetahs. So you know the Lions pretty well too, I guess.
Yeah. This is a mix from the two teams, the Lions and the Cheetahs. We had like these two names. But after 2 years training with me and Mare Ferre, we had like two separate teams, more or less, who was pretty close to each other. But then we stopped doing. We just started again with a big group and all from basic again after 3 years when Gary came. And then we switched a lot. We switched till the beginning of the year. We tried, let's say, to make it easy, try to make the better combinations and the better guys together and who fits the best in each slot. And we were working like this. We still use the two names, Lions and Cheetahs, but the teams are completely different than before. Yeah, there is two Cheetahs and two Lions from the old day, the beginning days with me and Mare. It's a switch. It's a half on the moment. Let's say like this. Yeah, and then the Cheetahs, what is now a little bit the farm team. We have two new guys who came from canopy formation. We lost one guy from the two old teams, but we get two new guys who coming from the canopy formation to us, who never did actually four-way. And they started last year to do some tunnel. And in the beginning, the meaning was to make some camera flyers from them. But now, if we see now, today, they are in the Cheetah. And both did the first outdoor competition in Holland, both guys. And one, he was, let's say, one camp of training before he started to do all the competitions. And yes, they did both tunnel. But that's it. That's how it is now.
And there's a whole new generation now training in Zephyr Hills, right? I remember I was there like before the Nationals, about a month ago maybe, and there was a large group of Qatar skydivers, and they were training the basics. They were totally new. And now is it the same group now, or is it the new group? That's a whole new generation, right?
Yeah. What they've done. I mean, and I might be 100% wrong because we are not 100%. I might be a little wrong with it because we not entirely. We hear rumors, we get told certain things, and it's not always the same. But they took a group of like 60 AFF students across to Zephyr Hills, maybe even more, and from there they kept them jumping, and then some of these guys will come to the FS group, some to canopy formation, some to accuracy, some will be thrown out. And then, of course, they needed coaches. And I think that's when Nicholas has got involved. I think also Hayabusa was contacted to work with them, but they were not available. So I don't know exactly where we're standing with it, but eventually this will become a new feeder group into our groups and into the 8-way and into Tigers, So it's when you said one of your comments was now we have a team like the Lions that can beat, be it an Airbus or whatever. I think that's only, how can you say it, a big plus for the whole Qatar delegation.
It's inspiring, shows you I would guess. Huh?
Yes, and how strong they can become. So I mean that's a positive, and the good thing is they're bringing new guys now already. I mean sometimes they will take 3 or 4 years before they get to where the Lions are now, unfortunately. But I mean that's where they are. But we are happy that we have a new generation coming.
Yeah, they are solidifying basically really their position as a new formation skydiving powerhouse. Not only formation skydiving, in the other events too. They have been successful in canopy formation, all that already in the past. But now in formation skydiving competition, it looks like they came in as a kind of new player in the field, and now they have become a powerhouse, and they are working on keeping it.
Yeah, I mean it's difficult. It's just one of those that you never know. Like what Luke was saying, we chose 4 guys, and we've been switching all the time. Like up until April this year, we had our first outdoor camp in May in Empuria Bravo. It was our first jumping camp, and we were still switching up until even when that camp finished. We didn't have D team. It was only when we got to Holland where we thought, wow, we better keep these guys. And yes, they're good. But in the Cheetahs, there's one guy, maybe the second, that we could switch in. but eventually you have to stick with 4 guys and run and go.
But it's great if you have those options. You know,
Yes,
that I mean, not
exactly.
every team. We know that. We know how the civilian four-way competition and selection is, how difficult it is. You know, in the professional area, it's a little bit well, it's not easier. You know, if you live maybe in the United States because there's such a great potential, but like Belgium, you know, it's not that easy to find people, new people for the top performance teams. How was it anyway? How was it with when you eventually, when the Lions were defeating Hayabusa's new lineup, and then afterwards they defeated Airbus? I mean, especially Hayabusa was, you're not coaching Airbus, that's solid. But you have been coaching, you've brought, you know, 3 of the current Hayabusa members to become world champions, right? If I have that correctly, you would confirm that Dave is on camera now, but
Yeah.
Dennis and Bob, you know, they come from your school, from your coaching, became world champions, and now you have the Lions, and they beat your, you know, your friends, your Hayabusa.
Yeah,
What
but
are the dynamics there?
well, Luke obviously is also, he's a Hayabusa competitor member. So I mean, we were proud of what the Lions did. We were shocked a little bit because I guessed them in at a 90. I said they can do 19 average, and I was hoping we could show progression from 17 average to 19 this year. That would be great. But of course, every draw is slightly different. They jumped to 20.9, I think. But Hayabusa did a 20.7, only 2 points behind. And I think they were also proud of what they achieved. So where we stood on the podium, obviously the Qataris was huge to be able to beat Hayabusa. But we also know that Hayabusa came from nothing with Ray, and for him to do a 20.7 on that draw, I think was also very, very good. So, you know, they were also, there was a lot of positive that they took out of that meet.
So what are you expecting, both of you, Luke, Gary? What are you expecting now? I mean, we'll have again the Qatar team and Hayabusa facing each other at the World Championship. Neither the Lions nor the Cheetahs, but the Tigers will be facing Hayabusa. Does Hayabusa have a chance within your lineup? Luke,
I'll leave it to Luke.
Start with Luke.
I mean, hey, everything need to be jumped, you know, in skydiving. You never know. Jumped and judged till everybody is with his feet on the ground. But on paper today, if I see what Hayabusa did in Holland, and yeah, Gary knows me, I know what the Tigers can do, then it's gonna be a difficult one for Hayabusa to beat the Tigers, I guess. I know they get better now. They still train between Holland and World Meet. They will be, for sure, they will be better there. But that is going to be enough to beat the Tigers. I don't think so. That's my opinion on the moment. I don't think so. It's going to be a difficult one. But
Gary,
like we say,
yeah, sorry. So interrupting, but Gary, how far can you how far can you go from a 20 plus average to the World Championship in that 6 weeks, something or so? With
no, yeah, but they only had one training camp from about, I think it was about 10, 12 days, and they had bad weather. So it's just finished this week. And to be honest with you, all you can do, it's the same as what we did with the Lions and Cheetahs. We only had 2 weeks in between the two competitions. We try to just consolidate. You cannot push anymore. And I think for Hayabusa, if they can go and repeat another 20 average, with Ray, that will be incredible. And so I go the same with Luke. I mean, Tigers are aiming at 22, 23 average. So I think it will be a bigger gap, and there's no doubt for me for that. And we have to give Hayabusa the credit of, it's a long-term plan with them, with a guy they picked up from AFF. He hasn't even done a year's jumping with them because Dave did all the SISM jumps and training. Plus he did, I think, 3 months of military training, where it was split 6 weeks or something. So it's not fair for him to even be thrown into that category, or them, you know. and yes, they will do their best. But from a coaching point, I think if they can do a 20.5 average again with Ray, then it's incredible what they've achieved. You know, yes, they are great. They're world champions, but you're bringing up a youngster, you know, and he's on the point. It's not that easy for him. He can't see too much, and he makes mistakes, and we know it.
You just took all the excitement out of that was
Hey,
nothing is happening anymore. So now we have
maybe Norway. Norway.
so now we have all right, well let's move. I'm gonna pull up the latest version of the NSL power rankings for the competition, and I'm afraid that according to what you just said, that we have to make some some adjustments there. I hate to see that, and you know, because I was looking forward. Let me switch over here now, share the um, screen here, and then you know, I was hoping, wishing, and so forth that we would have some. You see that now? Are we sharing?
Yeah. Got you.
Yes.
So you know, I had Hayabusa still at least in a battle for the third place, but you just took that away.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think as a betting man, you would bet Tigers for sure. I mean, Tigers' goal with Andy is obviously to see how close can we be to France and airspeed. You know, that's going to be the goal for Tigers. I'm pretty certain they're not worried about Hayabusa, because there should be no doubt that Tigers should, for years, they've done 21.5, 22, depending on the draw, you know, close to a 23. But I think they need to go out and put a solid 22, 23 meet.
What airspeed has just shown, what is it, 25.8 at the US Nationals. So I guess that'll be out of reach probably for the Tigers.
Yes, yeah, I think so. I mean, unless something goes, who knows what happens in it. I think the Tigers are trying to just match a round or two here and there. You know, I don't think they can match 10 rounds.
And for France with a 25.1, I'm just realizing that yes, we had a 25.8. France had a 25.1 in August. Could there be a competition for the first place?
I mean, Luke and I have discussed it a little bit, so I'll leave it to Luke. What do you think?
Well, I think that the French team really moved up there. Their average show also a 25 plus now. You know, each draw is each draw. We know this also. And you need to be there with each other in the competition. You know, you need to be on the same place jumping. Well, they're gonna be. I think my personal idea is they're gonna be closer to airspeed than probably before. For sure, that is gonna be a real competition. Well, I always joke and said, hey, if they have very good day and they have very good meet, and another team, maybe airspeed has a little bit something there. What happened? They're gonna be close to each other for sure then. But well, on the paper, well, that's what we always. I think today on the paper, airspeed. I think airspeed is still stronger than the French team on the moment. But hey, it's not the first time that the French team surprises. So bring up some surprises. But they are good. They are good. They will be for sure make some same scores like airspeed in some jumps. I'm sure.
So after this conversation, do I have to make an adjustment now at the power ranking? Does Arizona airspeed and Athos both get a tied 1, and then Qatar Tigers in 3rd place and Hayabusa in 4th place? Or does Hayabusa even have to go down to the battle? Is it not going to be a battle for the 5th place, but even for the 4th place? Is Hayabusa part of that, or are they safe in 4th place?
Yeah, but that's a difficult question. I mean, I would keep airspeed one for sure. I mean, airspeed's blocks in and out of
Okay.
when they finish in blocks and they move in. I don't think over 10 rounds France will match that. I think they're too clean, they're too good. On a speed jump, the French can go as fast. So something three randoms on a block 7 or something in a 14, and as they had in Norway on a block 9, they were as quick. So that will not surprise me, and I'm sure it will not surprise airspeed. But when you go into the technical stuff with the block stuff, I think airspeed is stronger.
Yeah.
That would be me, and then I would, yeah, for sure, Tigers 3, Hayabusa should be 4 with a 20 something average, but I think the Airbus are solid. They look very, very good. They lost points at their nationals with video. So I think they are also close to a 20 average. That draw that we had in the ESL was not great. It was definitely slower. We with the Qataris we did less. Was it because we were tired at the end of a long camp? And Airbus had just planned this one in. It wasn't really a big meet for them. It was just to do one more meet before going to do their training camp in DeLand. I think also check video. So I think Airbus, and then of course Norway, Agera. I haven't seen any of their stuff, but I know from watching them in Voss, they were good.
So not forgetting echo chamber, and Papia either.
Yeah, but
Papia is
that's what
good.
if I was looking at your top, we could have the top 1, 2, 3 very quickly after 3, 4, 5 rounds. But I think from 5, 6, 7, 8, and all the way down to Papaya, it's going to be an unbelievable fight.
Okay, good. I'm glad that at least this is unchanged. So on the top 4 positions, I guess the realistic adjustment would be 1, 2, 3, 4 in the same order. So Hayabusa not
Yeah.
really in contention for 3rd place, but secure on 4th place, probably maybe challenged by one of the following teams there.
Yeah, the top out of that group will be closer to Hayabusa, I think, than Hayabusa to Tigers.
I see.
That's
Okay, that's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Do you agree,
Yeah,
Luke?
because
It the same way?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Okay.
Airbus, Agera, I mean, all of them, Echo Chamber, they're all trying to push into the 20s, and that's where Hayabusa is right now. So it's going to be tight there for sure.
What about the British team? Did you follow that a little bit? They did not win the Nationals Apex, but they scored significantly higher than last year. But Pete Allen with Soar won actually with a
Yeah,
19.4 average or something. So they would be close probably also to the
yeah.
same. Do you think Apex can do that too? Do they have the
No, I think
potential?
no. I mean, from looking at the British nationals jumps, I mean, Saw with Pete and them looked a little bit quicker than Apex. Apex, I mean, solid, but a little bit slower. So I would put Apex even behind what I've seen of Airbus and Echo Chamber.
Okay.
But I mean, Airbus, I've seen the full 10 rounds, but Echo Chamber, I haven't seen. I've only seen what they've posted on Facebook, on their homepage.
So we may have to put the Apex back to where they were before, if I get this correct. No, I'm just going to leave them there. Who knows? They
Put them all on 5, make it easy.
put them on 5. That makes it more exciting. What about the rest of the field? They're out of the blue. Natunos, any chance to get close to the probably not?
I,
Or what?
out of the blue have definitely looked solid. Dennis has been coaching them. We saw them at the Dutch Nationals. They weren't as quick, but some of their stuff was good. Some of their stuff really, when they got going, they looked really, really good. So, but I would put them on about I think they did 17, 18 average.
Not enough to get to
Yeah.
the 5th place battle there, which is, I
No.
mean, I'm almost looking mostly for, I hope, and all the SBeat members are hoping that France will be strong, to give them a little bit. They say that, it's a lack of competition, a lack of pressure that they are facing. And they're actually hoping that they can show their best by getting a little bit pressure from France. But still, 1, 2, 3, 4 is kind of solid, and the big battle is really for the unofficial amateur world championship, right? That's all it can. Would you agree with?
Yes.
Could you call it that actually? That this is the unofficial, amateur battle going on there?
I mean, for me, yes, because the top four are all almost full-time teams. We got Airspeed, you've got France, they all supported, Qatar supported, and Hayabusa supported. And then you're going into weekend teams, people that do 9 to 5 other jobs, and then weekend, and there's nothing, maybe Papaya, not, but they're also a SISM team that do everything,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
have to always, we have to also remember that. Sorry, I have a dog barking here, man.
Yeah, I have to say, I cannot believe, how the time was running by here again, because we have 4 minutes left now. If from those 40 minutes that I'm getting usually, or 30, whatever it is. Um, so let's spend the final words quickly with the other events. Um, because we also have a four-way women event. VFS, I don't know enough to make any statement, but we have a four-way women event. We have the eight-way competition. I think eight-way competition is probably also too clear what's going to happen there without Russian team, without a French team. I think that's all pretty much in place easily. But the
Yeah.
four-way women competition may offer some. What do you think about this? Wasn't it a 17 average by the German four-way women team, Meltemi? That was pretty impressive to me. Can they get into medal contention?
Luke?
Yes, yeah, Multimi, they average is up now. Up comparing last year was, and now, yes, they do better. They did a great nationals actually for Multimi.
Yeah.
Yeah, they. If I look to the numbers on the scoreboard, they some jumps they were not far from the Airbus team. So yeah, they did improved very well. Yes, sure.
So does the Norwegian team Tura, the young girls, do they have a chance now with Meltemi, or can they get to the same?
I haven't seen him, but I know Carl Eric was very enthusiastic in Voss
Mhm.
about their training. So it depends how much training they've actually got in. But I mean, they're good flyers. Of course, the tunnel is there for them. It's just a case of how many jumps they've done. But the Germans, we know, are very experienced. Very, you've got 4 experienced ladies in there,
Yeah,
and
do you
and then
know, Luke, you know one of them from the atomic times, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Drea,
Andrea.
Drea
Yeah,
Clancy. You know her very well.
yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, Drea is jumping now with the girls. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So she's a strong, experienced competitor.
Well,
So,
yeah, she's experienced. She did with atomics, I think twice 20 average or 3 times even. Yeah.
and then
So
there's Linda Koop, who's doing
yeah,
eight-way.
was
And
doing was very good in the yeah, sure. Uh, I think they have some strong team now. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not really followed that because of the switches and everything from Agera, the girls, because they were mixed a certain time. Yeah, Vos, I think, and so it's difficult to follow up for me. But how far they are, but otherwise, it's gonna be, I think, a fight for the third place, right? That's what we're talking about.
but then we have the question mark behind the British team. Gary, with his connections to South Africa, may have some information there. And then there's also that battle that may come up between XPG4 and China. So for we women could become quite interesting. The French team, on a pretty impressive level also at the nationals. But you know what? We have to postpone this for our next conversation. That will be about four-way women then,
yeah,
because
yeah.
we are running out of time. You have to give me your famous last words now, and that's all we have left. It's less than a minute. Sorry, guys. Sorry, NSL news.